On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a 6, first of all. And I would say that press freedom is very fundamental, especially when it comes to human rights generally, globally. And the reason why this is so is because a lot of people really rely on the press to get the right information. A lot of Nigerians and all over the world rely on the press because, I mean, the press is recognized as the fourth arm of the government. So I'd say that the press cannot be independence of the press cannot be overemphasized. It is important for us to say we are, really practicing the democratic system of government.
So for journalists across the world, we're facing, different challenges. Absolutely. By the time you go about doing your reportorials, your responsibility, being socially responsible, reporting issues, bringing issues to, to the fore, you tend to face, some challenges, with people slamming libel, defamation, etc., as the case may be, against you. How do you feel journalists have been faring in the world in practicing their profession without fear or hindrance?
Well, I mean, bringing it down to Nigeria, it is obvious. I mean, currently we have a lot of journalists behind bars. A lot of journalists have been arrested. Some have been sued in a civil suit, asking them to pull down some publications and all of that. So it's a reality, but unfortunately, that is not what it ought to be. We have laws. You just quoted the, Section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution, giving it expressly that the press should be free. And that's the only way we can really enjoy democracy, as it were. And again, when we talk about these people whose right has been infringed, it is having impact on younger journalists because you then feel like the profession is not a safe one. I mean, a lot of people actually study journalism but would not practice it because of the fear that their freedom is not guaranteed. They cannot stand for justice. They cannot stand for the truth. It could be very, it's something that could hurt you as a person, that you're really reporting the truth. But because you're dealing with powers that be, you are not allowed to operate freely. So I'd say that today, being the World Press Freedom Day, it's a day for us to remind ourselves all over again the importance of the independence of the press and freedom of expression generally, and for us to say, to tell the stakeholders, the government, to do the needful and allow the press to really do its work. And that is the only time that we can enjoy democracy.
The 2023 Global Index on Press Freedom puts Nigeria 123 out of about 180 countries. And so an interpretation would be that you would first look at 122 countries, as safe places to practice journalism before you come to Nigeria. But when you look at this ranking, how do you relate with it? Do you think it's a fair appraisal of, what journalists face in this country? And in terms of accountability, who is to blame?
Well, it's not fair. I mean, okay, is it fair as to the number that we are in, that we're in? I think that is the reality. I mean, I'm in practice. I'm a lawyer and I go to court every day. And I see how even media houses are being brought to court, for different charges. Some say libel, some say criminal defamation, Some people say, because we now have digital press, some people say they bring the charges under the Cybercrime Act in Nigeria. So I'd say that's the reality. It's really pathetic. And the truth of the matter is a lot of people are really pulling out of the profession just because of this. Some cannot practice fairly, so they will rather push the agenda of the people in the of the powers that be, rather than doing the profession as it were. So I'd say it's fair. That's the true position of things, right? And moving away from that, I also look at the way we look at the things, looking at the government of the day. We are hopeful that this government maybe would do something very differently when it comes to independence of the press, because it is very essential, right? So we're hopeful. That's all I can say about the government of the day.
Another leg of the question would also be, like in February, we saw how a federal high court ordered the federal government to investigate all the past deaths of journalists, even including that of Dele Giwa, that more than 30 years after it has occurred, we are where we are. Nobody knows for certain who carried out or who ordered, the killing. Nobody has been brought to book. Nobody has even been prosecuted. In terms of, gaining this kind of closure, and that's not the only one. So many journalists have also, like you must be aware. How do you see it as an easy task, for the government of the day to, get that done, to have that investigated, prosecution and all of that? Can we make that progress?
Absolutely, I believe so. When the government has the will to do anything, trust me, it will be done. So I believe the government has the capacity, it has the resources, the materials to get it done. It also has the capacity to give the closure to the family, to the profession, and every other person that looks up to journalism as a way of livelihood and as a way of, giving back to the society and really upholding justice. It's really a way to give them closure if the government can do this. We are really hopeful that the government would do, because I believe they have the capacity to do. But much more than that, we would also look at the Nigerian people, because sometimes the government is trying to do something and we as a people are not also ensuring or helping to bring it, to make it materialize. How is that possible? I mean, there are powerful people in this country, all right? So when the government is doing its bit on one hand, and the powerful people in this country are doing the other, something else on the other hand, when you now see private individuals, being prosecuted, prosecuting press, telling press to pull down stuff, private individuals. So it's not just the government. We as the Nigerian people also have a role to play in this.
All right, let's put you on hold. We will